Hello, IPXers. It's your host Sandro here, and today we are going to be talking about AI, running AI, and specifically SBCs that you can use to do so. Now, what is an SBC for the uninitiated? An SBC is a single board computer. Now, if you've ever designed any projects that require an SBC, you'll know that selecting an SBC is not a simple process. Oftentimes, when you go to select an SBC, you come to a crossroads, one where you have to select between using a weaker powered, very easy to use, very easy to implement SBC, or utilizing a powerhouse that takes 3 weeks of development, 3 weeks of installing drivers and firmware in order to run. And that's 3 weeks where you're not designing your own project, your own use case. Now, there's someone here that claims to be able to say, no, you're gonna go right through the middle, and that is GRINN. Now, GRINN has developed the Genio board. The Genio board here claims to give you both performance and ease of use through the utilization of the MediaTek Genio 700. Now, this comes with an octa-core CPU with 6 ARM Cortex-A55 cores, as well as 2 ARM Cortex-A78 cores. It also comes with a dedicated Mali GPU, as well as an NPU worth 4 TOPS. So that's quite a lot of performance on the specification side, but all of that is useless without the powerful interface support on the Genio board. The Genio board also has an array of different interfaces that you can use to connect and interface directly with the board itself. That is HDMI, 2 CSI slots. It has gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB 2 slots and 2 USB 3 slots, as well as a PCIe Gen 2. It also comes with 2 M.2 expansion slots, one being an M.2E, one being an M.2M, which is useful for AI acceleration, as well as Wi-Fi, cellular, satellite end-to-end connectivity, as well as a 40-pin header expansion, which allows you to test even more peripherals on the Genio board. What makes this special is, like I mentioned earlier, it is an SBC, so you can plug it in. You just need a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor, and you can get started on using it. You can have an OS on it. And also another thing to note is it does actually come in like a Raspberry Pi kind of form factor, which allows you to easily design around it. So now that we've talked about the specifications and we've opened up the box of the Genio board, it's now time to have a look at what it's capable of. Normally, this is where I'll tell you to go and flash programs onto the board in order to evaluate the board. However, GRINN has kindly preloaded the board with a computer vision program, YOLO V8, which will allow us to utilize and test GRINN's capabilities. The setup is going to be quite simple. You just need some power and an HDMI. And once you have everything connected, the board should auto boot into the program. Now, the startup process should be quite quick. And once you're in, you'll be able to see that the sensor it connected to the Genio board via the CSI strip, which will allow high quality, high speed information transfer between the Genio board and me. You can see here 16.7 milliseconds of calculation time, so to speak, crunching all those numbers on the APU, that's the AI processing unit, taking all of that load off of the core processors and offloading those calculations to the APU to have such high speed on a small device such as the Genio board. It is using the MediaTek Genio 700, so it does have quite the punch to it. Now I can see here, we're running a very simple object detection, or let's say people detection model. So it can see that I am here and I am a person, luckily. You can see it's quite powerful at detecting a person, even with no face, just a hand. It can detect the tie that I'm wearing. So you can see it's quite powerful at doing what it's supposed to do. It's running all of this directly on the edge, so there's no cloud involved at all. This is all running locally on this hardware in front of me right now. So that gives you the bonuses of having your data localized in wherever you decide it should be. You don't have to send it off to the cloud where a third party or a bad actor may take your information. If you like what you saw in the demo and you want to evaluate for yourself if the specifications we mentioned earlier on in the video are interesting to you or potentially useful to you in your own projects, then do check the link down below to get your own Genio board and evaluate the technology yourself. After all, nothing's better than seeing it with your own eyes. Remember, IPXers, stay disruptive.